Dude, I gotta tell you, I got 3 hundos. One was a Snivy, I just told you. What do you think the other 2 were?
Oh, I mean, it must not be like a Tepig because you would have said that, right?
Yeah, I would have.
I don't know what else is actually in the pool at all right now.
Kyle?
Yeah?
2 Bouffalon.
Bouffalon? Are you kidding me?
2 Bouffalons.
Okay, that's hilarious, actually. All these trips to New York, what was the point?
What was the point, man? Oh, man.
You're tuned into the GOCast podcast, your one-stop shop for updates, news, tips, and community in the world of Pokemon Go. Thank you for listening.
It's not always black and white. Sometimes it's both, and a dragon to boot.
Everyone gets a free pass to Unova Tour Global, but is the premium track worth it?
And more on this episode of GOCast. Hello and welcome to the GOCast podcast, episode 315. It is February 27th, a Thursday evening. It is also Pokemon Day. Happy Pokemon Day, Mr. Kyle. Speaking of, I'm your host, Chris, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kyle.
Hiya.
Hey, Kyle, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm tired.
Yeah?
But that's normal when it's not a Tuesday.
That's true. Yes, I appreciate your flexibility. I came back from Unova Tour and my voice was still a little bit gone. It was fighting for its life while we were there, let me tell you. But those extra 2 days have done me some good. So thank you for that. Kyle, it's good to see you back. Good to hear from you. And I'm looking forward to podcasting with you, sir. You're back after a 2-week break. And I want to apologize to you personally, as well as everybody else listening, that while you were out, I was supposed to do 2 episodes. As soon as you were gone, guess who got flu A? I don't even think I told you.
No.
I was very sick for like a week and a half. And then I had just enough voice to record like 20 minutes this last episode before I left for tour.
I'm glad you felt well enough to go to your tour.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at that point, it was all just like, man, I can't get my voice to sound normal, but I think we did okay. Speaking of, I'll get this stuff out of the way up front here. 2 big things. First of all, if you are listening to this show, you know that Kyle and I are both big fans and big fans of the It's Super Effective podcast run by our friend Steve. And while I was out there in LA, I went to a podcast studio and recorded with Steve and Bobby from that show as well. Hannah, you were missed very much so. And you can go see that episode. It's actually out there live now. We talk about all sorts of things, but namely we talk about, because this is after the first day of gameplay in the park, our first day experience of the Unova Tour in Rose Bowl Stadium and then connecting golf course. And then also about the Scopely acquisition rumors. We talk about that a lot. We did not talk about the Scopely acquisition rumor stuff on our show. We have not done that yet. We might touch on it a little bit. But if you've been listening to our show for a while, you know that our attitude towards rumors and things like that is largely to just ignore them. We peddle in only the finest of confirmed official information. And so we largely avoid that stuff. So, but it is large. It is a large topic and we might touch on it at some point. So go listen to that episode. That was cool. I'm on there. You might like it. The second thing is that if you do not normally listen to PvP Corner, which if you don't, you should, at least make the exception to go listen to this most recent one. It is the 200th, I can't believe it, 200th episode of the PvP Corner, my fish on a heater DeFi 250. The 200th, and they had a very special guest. Kyle, did this sneak past you? Did you not see this?
No, I saw that it happened. I haven't listened to it, but I did see that happen. I also knew it was coming. I just didn't know when. Yeah,
they had talked about it with us like for a while. And like, hey, like, you know, what is this? How does this sound? Like a DeFi sent at least me a few questions to double check too, and be like, any ideas? But they had Michael Staranka from Niantic on for their 200th episode, which if you're not aware is a big deal.
Yeah.
So he's up there. He's really up there, especially with Pokemon Go. So you need to go give that a listen. It's fascinating. And they did a video version of it. So that'll be on the Spotify feeds. And also, which is also a rare occasion, it is on our YouTube channel. So please go give that a listen / watch, give it a like, do all that stuff because it's exciting. Okay. So let's talk about goals. So Kyle, before you had left for a little break, you had set some goals. I did too, but mine are really like out of date. It doesn't really matter anymore. So let's take a look at what yours were. You wanted to clear out your storage and get down below 5,000.
I am. I'm at 4,957.
Oh my gosh. Look at him go. Nice work.
There's a lot more I could get rid of. I desperately need an even bigger calling here.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm sure you'll find time, tonight before Monster Hunter comes out. No. And Buddy Progress, did you manage to do that?
No. I'm going to say no because I'm not going to lie. In the last 2 weeks, I think I opened Go twice.
Okay.
So, and one of those times was because I was at my sister's house and my nephew wanted to play Pokemon. So.
Gotcha.
And okay. Just very, very quick aside. How old were you when you played your first Pokemon game?
I think I was 9, 8.
Really?
Maybe. Oh, wait. When was the first year that Red and Blue came out?
96.
Okay, then I was like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Because I was born in 91.
I don't know if my nephew just has absolutely no attention span or he's just like not there yet. He's 5.
Yeah.
And I pulled up a ROM on my phone that I was playing of Pokemon and was showing him. He loves Pokemon Go. Absolutely no interest even looking at the screen for a regular Pokemon game. So I'm just like,
that's not nice to hear. That makes me sad.
I'm just like, okay, I guess we're going to try again next year.
I mean, I'll tell you what, man, my attention span as a 5-year-old was a lot better than it is now as an adult, which is crazy for me to say. But I feel the world just moved at a different pace at that time. And it's easy for us to chalk up us having been kids at the time. But I think the world in general for everybody just moves at a different pace now.
Yeah. Hard to keep up.
It is hard to keep up. Speaking of that, though, Monster Hunter Wilds does come out. And speaking of having to slow down a bit, that's what we're going to be doing over the weekend. That's for sure. In addition to begging, borrowing, and stealing some time for Unova Tour Global. But before we get to all that, because rest assured, that's what we're talking about on this show today. So just to wrap this up, Kyle, 1 out of 2 on your goals. Very nicely done there. I'm glad you managed to clear out the storage. It's actually the 1 out of the 2 goals you had set that I didn't think you'd get. Well, the other one's just Buddy Progress. You just throw them a bone like twice. Like, you're fine, But I do want to talk about my experience at Unova Tour in LA and allow Kyle to ask any questions about the in-person event that he may have, hopefully acting as some sort of audience like foil. But this is in the past, so I'm not gonna linger too much. So I think the first question that I will answer that's not even asked is, was it worth it? Because it's always the biggest question. And again, as these tour events tend to do, I am convinced that they are worth it. Now, if you had to choose between a tour event and a GoFest, choose the GoFest every time. But tour is great. The in-person event is great. And I can't tell if it's because I got to see the sun in February and my body is just now used to not having to ever see it. And the past 3 years I've been really lucky to go places where there has been sun in February. But man, I left so burnt out and so depressed. This tour fixed me. It did. It really, really did. I got to see so many people that I love hanging out with. I got to meet so many people. I got some great Pokemon. My shiny luck from hatching 10-kilometer eggs was off the chain, man.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Did you take pictures?
I took some pictures. There's an Instagram post up.
Would 2023 Chris be proud of you?
You know, I didn't make a post every day. But I think late 2024 Chris would be surprised that with what I did.
I don't necessarily mean like posting in social media. It's just memories, you know, because that's what you said the first time when we were in New York. You're like, I don't take enough pictures for memories. So
yeah, I took some pictures. And other people around me took pictures, and I was tagged and stuff. I know Steve put up an Instagram post that I was tagged in along with Tone. Shout out to Tone, who's always a pleasure to hang out with. And that post is doing really well, and he's a much better curator of photos than I am. Yeah. That's for sure. But no, it was great. I'd want to just talk briefly, some overview and some highlights and some missed points, I think. And some of these actually might be echoed in our discussion about global as well, as we talk about what is and isn't there. But for the in-person event, at least as far as the LA one is concerned, first and foremost, the Rose Bowl Stadium and the attached golf course continue to be an incredible spot to play. Not because of its historic value or whatnot, which I'm sure is great. That's awesome. I love taking pictures in those box seats that we were up there in, and send them to my football loving friends as somebody who does not care about college ball and being like, here you go, look at this. Isn't this great? Anyway, Pikachu's on the billboard. We love it. But the arena has all the amenities you could ever want. They open up like, you know, the food stalls and stuff. There's plenty of bathrooms, and on the golf course, it's a golf course, so it's meant to be walked on like all over the place. And there's like bathrooms halfway. The water stations, Kyle, stations.
Yeah.
The pressure was real good. There were no lines, and the water was cold.
The no lines makes me feel like there weren't a lot of people there then.
No, there were plenty of people there. Trust me.
How was the population?
I think it was like 10K, maybe 15K total, probably 5K a day. Probably. It wasn't quite as big as GOFest, but it was big.
That's not 5K is not that many.
True.
The Saturday GoFest in New York was like 18,000 or something like that.
That was
so
insane.
Many people.
I'm probably underestimating. I would imagine, but it was pretty full. Each of the days.
How many water stations were there?
2.
Okay.
And they were right next to each other in the middle of the park. That is one point I'd like to make, is that even though those water stations were great, they probably should have had another one further down. But I think that they were limited as to where they could get the water from, because these were right outside like the house that's like halfway there that has like the bathrooms that are built, and I think like there was normally like a convenience stand in there that's open that wasn't open, something like that. Beyond that, on Sunday, I didn't go to the park at all.
Okay.
I didn't go at all. Friday and Saturday, I was in the park all day, got to see bunches of people and stuff. And on Sunday, we met up with a few listeners from our community, and then also a coalition of the super effective folks. And we walked from Santa Monica Pier, like up to Muscle Beach, Venice Beach, and then back, and then around the town a little bit too. It was a lot of walking, and it was beautiful. And I got to tell you,
the weather.
I mean, the weather was fantastic. Yeah. It was like 10 degrees cooler in Santa Monica than it was in Pasadena, which is crazy how much of a difference the water makes. But I also want to say that location I say location, I mean like vaguely like that location, like that area of LA, just had a natural disaster like less than a month ago. And there were some barricades from the National Guard and stuff, like some fences and things like that. But I couldn't see anything. And the arena had been used for staging stuff for the surrounding area for like, disaster relief. And you could not tell. You could not tell. it was remarkable. They did a very good job. Whoever was in charge of that, and I understand, hey, it's LA. I'm sure they're real good at optics there, but even still, monumental effort, and they did a really great job. So kudos to whoever was in charge of that. You knocked it out of the park. Quite literally. There was nothing in the park. So now let's talk about a couple of things that I think we're missing. I mean, there were the biomes. That was great. They had a Ferris wheel, Kyle. That was neat.
You sent the picture of the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, I would never get on that thing. Steve did on stream, apparently. Just funny. And man, that was all great. But there was something missing. There was no roaming legendary Pokemon. None. And also, like last year, we had no word of Arceus, but Arceus hasn't been added to the game. This year, no word on Keldeo, even though Keldeo has been in the game. It is really crazy. It is really crazy. The deal with Keldeo, folks at home that might not know, is that Keldeo is technically in Pokemon Go. But unless you bought a research ticket like years ago.
2020.
Yeah.
Earlier than that, maybe?
I don't even know, but it was a while ago. You can't get it. You just can't get it outside of that. And we still have no idea what the plans are for it or anything like that. So that's kind of a miss, I think, for sure. But I would say all in all, the in-person experience was so fantastic. The weather was great and the setting was spectacular. And the game ran like a dream, dude. Like
it was
no
2022,
problems.
I'm sorry.
2022? That's still, that feels
3 years.
so much
2.5
longer
years
ago. That's crazy. I would probably give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say. I feel like with a tour, we really know what to expect because they didn't really shake anything up.
No.
This is the exact same event that happened last year.
This one had the pass.
Yes, sure, but that's also going to happen here for Global, which we can talk about. But
and
I don't think that counts as being different.
Last year there were also the Spiritomb stops, and the year before that at Hoenn with the Spinda stops to like encourage you to get around the park and stuff like that, and then the larger city area. This year they had riddles that you had to find specific Pokestops that were of that Pokemon, that being like the answer, right? So like one of them was, this Pokemon is known as being like the brave little warrior or whatever, and it was for Rufflet. And so you had to find all of those and then complete them, and then find in a step 2 after you did 3 to find the associated genie stop and spin those as well.
Don't like that.
No?
Don't care for that. No.
Oh.
I
understand.
I don't want to be forcibly guided around the park in that kind of manner. Especially
they were kind of mismatched, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, sorry, it's a 0 out of 10 event because there were no Spiritomb stops this year. That's really the thing. We needed more Spiritomb stops. But I think it was cool. I liked it. I think Spinda might have been the best one that they've ever done. Which is crazy because it was the first time they did something like that. But it felt good, you know, having the numbers on it. And they're like, oh, go find this one. Easy peasy. Right. So that's that. So I think to cap off my live experience, I'd like to regale you with the shinies that I got, at least some highlights. I hatched so many eggs. I hatched 300 eggs. And I hatched 3 shinies of each of the 3 regionals. It was
crazy.
3 Bouffalant, 3 Maractus, and 3 Sigilyph. Several of them have been traded away for things. And I also got a twin shiny with Justin. It was an Oshawott.
You like shiny twins?
It's an Oshawott. So
we don't like that. That's
no,
okay.
we don't. No. Traded for a shiny Skidoo. And got Vanillite, 2 Venipede. Finally got a Venipede. One of each of the Basculin that I traded for both of those. And I gotta tell you, man, most of these were caught with my plus.
Whoa.
2 shiny Zorua on my plus.
Well, first off, I don't like you for that.
Yeah,
second
that's
off,
fine.
that's how the statistics are going to roll if most of what you caught was from your plus for the whole weekend.
Yeah, but like when I say this, I mean like I'm live comparing with folks around me in my play group that are actively catching, and they're like, I haven't seen anything. I'm like, oh, I've literally caught 2 of the rarest things in my plus in the last like 10 minutes.
Yep.
And I was just going around their group going, oh, whoop, look at that, caught this. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm telling you.
RNG giveth, RNG taketh away.
Now RNG didn't take anything, dude. Not a darn thing. Perhaps so. perhaps so. But yeah, shout out to the ISC community and the GOCast listeners that came out. It was great having, food with y'all, walking around, playing. It was wonderful. I also have one more thing to say. And Kyle, I know you're with me on this one. Mm-hmm. I got asked a couple of times, hey man, you wanna join a party to do party play? And both times, and each time I got to answer it, I felt more emboldened. I said, heck no. Get that away from me. I think I hate it.
I don't care for it. I'm not going to say I hate it, but it doesn't add anything to the play experience for me. It adds one thing, okay? There's one thing. There's one thing I like about it that would make me not say no if the person doesn't care about me not contributing. I like that the Pokemon you catch have a tag that say they were caught in a party with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's very cool. I think for the people who especially for when you meet people that you don't see very often and have something like that in your inventory, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think being able to see the people in your group on the map is good, if you're comfortable with that idea to begin with. Like if you're good about like spreading out the folks that should really be on a leash because they tend to wander off. It's if you strategically spread those out into groups of like 2 or 3 others that are like mindfully aware, you can wrangle your groups better, And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think the feature's good. I just don't like playing it myself. It is way too distracting. It breaks up.
I really don't like tasks.
Yeah.
Like the party quests or whatever.
I don't like when you're done and it pulls that thing up that you have to look at for like 15 seconds before you can dismiss it. That bothers me. So, hey, Arceus bless you if you are into it, but not for me. No thanks. Okay, why don't we move on here then? Since we've talked about the in-person event quite a bit, let's go into the news where we'll talk about some stuff that it will be pertinent for your global experience, and then we'll continue on from there with more global content. Yo, what up? It's the news. Okay, we've got 2 pieces of news here. Actually, it's like 1.5 because they kind of like cannibalized themselves a little bit. A little redundant information here. But here's the first one. Black Kyurem and White Kyurem adventure effects. Trainers, when Black Kyurem and White Kyurem make their global Pokemon Go debuts during Pokemon Go Tour Unova Global, their signature moves will have brand new adventure effects. Adventure effects are powerful Pokemon attacks that can be activated outside of battle to grant temporary bonus effects to help you on your Pokemon Go journey. Adventure effects have now been reported to occur when Black Kyurem uses Freeze Shock and when White Kyurem uses Ice Burn. Plus, you can extend... Oh, yeah, sorry.
Can I interrupt you for just 2 seconds here?
Yeah.
Free Shock and Ice Burn are the worst named signature moves, period. They're so bad. Especially coming from Fusion Bolt and... the Glaciate's fine, but Fusion Bolt and Flare something... I don't remember the other 2 signatures for Reshiram and Zekrom.
Yeah.
But those are... These are terrible names.
You know what these sound like to me? They sound like shaman spells.
They do. I mean, free shock. Oh, Ice Shock is
Frost Shock.
Frost Shock is an actual shaman spell. But
Frost Shock, yeah. Sorry. Anyway, plus you can extend these adventure effects durations during the events by ranking up your tour pass. It's notable that will only exist during the tour period. We will talk about Tour Pass kind of throughout this next little bit here. So let's talk about the first one, Adventure Effect Freeze Shock. After fusing Zekrom with a Kyurem that knows the charged attack Glaciate will turn into the charged attack Freeze Shock. Freeze Shock will change back to Glaciate when Zekrom is separated from Kyurem. Trainers can use 5,000 Stardust and 5 Kyurem Candy to activate Freeze Shock's Adventure Effect, which casts electrically charged ice for 10 minutes. During this time, the Pokemon you encounter won't be able to move, making them easier to catch. So it's like a free Nanette Berry effect. This also makes Pokemon easier to catch, including with connected accessory devices. That's huge for people like me, actually. This might be the one that I actually use. You can extend this timer by paying more, like you can with the other adventure effects. And you can also add this up if you pay enough candy and Stardust for up to 24 hours total, just like the other adventure effects. And then just like other adventure effects as well, Freeze Shock cannot be active at the same time as another adventure effect, so you have to choose. Let's talk about the next one, Ice Burn, which is when you get Reshiram fused with the Kyurem that knows Glaciate. That Glaciate will turn into Ice Burn. Same thing, same cost, 5,000 Stardust, 5 Kyurem Candy to activate Ice Burn's adventure effect, which activates a chilling energy for 10 minutes. During this time, the target ring in Pokemon encounters will move more slowly, making it easier to land excellent throws. This also makes Pokemon much easier to catch, including with connected accessory devices. So this is like, pardon the use of the word, but it is pretty chill. It's very cool. It's very cool. This is like really the first I'm like reading this and like understanding what this means.
Yeah.
And they're unique, I think.
Well, no, they're very similar.
Well, to each other,
sure.
yeah, but their usage is it doesn't feel like it's like just an augmented version of the other adventure effects. You know what I mean?
Yes. I don't like that. At least to me, this is the way I read it. Obviously, others can take something else away from this. I don't like that the biggest selling point of these both adventure effects are that it makes the plus more effective. Because I think that the default effect is not very good, and you would not want to actually pay to use it.
I mean, not having them move is huge for certain Pokemon when you're hunting them down.
Sure. To an extent, but see, you say that, but I'm asking genuinely, how many times have you used a Nanette Berry? I bet you've thrown away 1,000 times or more than what you've used.
So you're right, but I have a pseudo rebuttal. Okay. Mm-hmm. Times that I would use a Nanette Berry, it is second place under another berry that I must use instead. Example B,
yes,
trying to catch a legendary Pokemon, right? Mm-hmm. I need to use a Golden Raspberry to get the catch rate good enough for me to use my, Ultra Balls and stuff like that. But if I could have both, I would use Nanabs all the time, because then I wouldn't have to worry about circle tricking all the time.
Is it good enough to pay for?
Yeah, I mean, it's not real money. It's Stardust and Kyurem Candy.
But Stardust or Kyurem Candy is rare candy, and Stardust is a currency you're going to spend on something else. Obviously, if you're swimming in Stardust and you're never going to spend it, not really relevant.
What would you consider swimming in Stardust?
Whatever you want to consider. So, because it's different to everybody. Some people have 1 million Stardust and they think they're rolling in it. Some people need 25 million. I assume that you probably have somewhere close to 25 million right now.
25 million.
So
that's actually creepy. How did you know?
Well, the last time we talked about it, you had like 22 and a half, and I know you spent, and then you just did the whole event. So
you clocked me, dog. That's for sure.
I would say that 25 million means you have more Stardust than you care to spend because you're never going to PvP.
I did 3 trades in a row. I did 2 with Tone and 1 with Morgan. And all 3 of those were 500,000 Stardust trades. And all of us were like, you got Stardust, you got Stardust, you got Stardust. We don't care.
Okay. Well, that's just disrespectful to Tone. You're not opening your gifts.
No, I have not been, but since the event, He has threatened / promised to harass me because I asked him to, and I've been on it every day so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my statement still stands. It's already really hard to justify both Spatial Rend and Roar of Time in terms of value for Stardust, and I think those both have very good effects, both of them. And so it's really hard to justify this for the time. You'll never make your Stardust back with either of these. This is purely sunk cost, unlike the other two, which, you know, in theory, you can make it back and also get a benefit.
Yeah.
Which is why I focus on the making Pokemon easier to catch, because that's where the real benefit is.
Yeah, and I think you're right, and I think this speaks to the player that's like, I'm going to do a bunch of legendary raids. My plus is going to play the rest of the event for me while I'm raiding. You know, that's how you maximize the value here.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I don't know if it would get me to spend the dust. I would definitely still rather, if I'm actively playing, I'd rather use either Roar of Time or Spatial Rend. But that's me personally. This is not a PokéPoll question, but maybe in the future, I'd love to hear other people who think that this is going to be preferred for them.
Yeah.
And by the time you're listening to this, you will probably already have access to it. So maybe you've already played with it and see which one you like more. But
yeah, we'll have to wait till it's been out a little bit. And then that's a really good idea for a question. It really is. Let's talk about during Pokemon Go Tour Unova Global. Take on Black Kyurem and White Kyurem in 5-star raids during the global version of the event to encounter Kyurem and obtain fusion energy. You'll be able to choose, or rather pick between 2 event badges, Black version, Reshiram, and White version, Zekrom. The badge you pick will determine certain rewards and bonuses. To get the most out of these bonuses, be sure to start the global event special research story, it's not over yet, and select your event badge when it becomes available. This special research will be available beginning on Saturday, March 1st at 10 a.m. local time, like when the event starts. For trainers who choose the Black version, Reshiram badge, receive Reshiram-themed special research rewards. All Kyurem encounters after defeating Black Kyurem in 5-star raids will know the charge attack Glaciate, and if you choose the other version, the opposite will be true for you. So you'll receive Zekrom-themed special research rewards, and all Kyurem encountered after defeating White Kyurem in 5-star raids will know the charge attack Glaciate. Remember, you need that Glaciate move on the Kyurem that you fuse in order to get your adventure effect move after they've been fused.
Don't worry. That's so unnecessary.
I mean, it's they're just keeping with trying to, you know, keep it all nice and kosher and you know, video game compliant, I guess. Yeah. It does seem extra. Yeah. I will give you that. You know, it is extra work, but at the same time, like, you know, get all your ducks lined up. And I think they're trying to make it so it's difficult for you to like do the fuse and like not know if all of your Kyurem have the Glaciate already. That's just the way to do it, right? So then progress your Tour Pass for enhanced adventure effects. The Tour Pass is a free limited time progression track during Pokemon Go Tour Unova that offers ranked rewards and bonuses. By completing past tasks and collecting Tour points, you can earn rewards, increase your rank, and improve your event bonuses. Each time you reach a major milestone, you'll increase your event bonuses. During Pokemon Go Tour Unova Global, you'll increase your catch XP bonus and extend the duration of Free Shock or Ice Burn's adventure effects for each major milestone you hit. So let's talk about this really quick. For trainers who choose the Black version Reshiram badge, at Tier 2 rewards, you'll get 1.5 times catch experience and 1.5 times the adventure effect duration. At Tier 3, it's 2 times for both of those. And at Tier 4, it's 3 times for both of those. If you have the opposite badge, it's the same thing. You know, the catch experience is 1.5, 2 times, and 3 times at those tiers. And then the same numbers for the duration of White Kyurem's Ice Burn instead of Freeze or Shock. So they're trying to make it cost effective and worthwhile to use these adventure effects during the event. So maybe that is, to your point, Kyle, that outside of this, the value is like poo-poo, right? But during this event, if you're at Tier 4 and you've still got like Sunday to go, 3 times duration sounds like it's approaching cost.
How far do you have to go to get to Tier 4?
Gosh, I don't know. That the tier thing wasn't included.
That's level 80.
Level 80?
Looks like, unless I'm crazy. No, I'm crazy. Hang on. It's even
Okay.
more than that.
Because there were no tiers at the in-person version of the pass, which, by the way, the pass, it was overwhelming at first. I loved it by the end of my experience with it. Hello?
Where's tier 4?
Maybe you have to finish the pass.
I don't think you can finish the pass.
There was 250 levels in the in-person one, but I think there's more than that in the global one.
There is more than that because I'm at 350 still scrolling.
Oh my gosh.
So I saw the last level. It said tier 3 at 80, but then I didn't see tier.
What was tier 2 at 40?
Tier 2 was at 60.
Okay, so probably 100 for tier 4.
Yeah, it just doesn't say, and then 100 is when it transitions to Stardust, which we'll talk about. But
yeah, okay. Well, there's that.
Okay, so before we talk about more,
yeah,
tell me about Go Tour Pass while you were at the Rose Bowl.
Oh yeah, so I mean the first there was no premium version. You either had a ticket to the event or you didn't, right? And so there was only one version of the pass. There was no parallel tracks like there is with this one with the free version, the premium that you can also buy. We'll talk about the premium in the next news article here in a second, but it was nice. You had to claim each of the things like one at a time unless it wasn't an encounter. So what they did is they had all the encounters more or less like stacked at the very front of the pass, like the first like 10 levels, I think. And then after that, you could literally just go and play the event and you gain tour points or whatever the word is for those points towards your pass. Every 10 points was the next tier or the next level rather. And you would get 1 point for catching Pokemon, 5 for hatching an egg. I think it was hatching an egg, and then 10 for catching a legendary Pokemon. So Kyle, like in this scenario, like the way that you and I usually play, where I'm Mr. Egg Hatcher and you're Mr. Raid Lover, right? You would have beaten me.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's even
finished it.
What was it for hatch and egg? I'm sorry.
I think 5.
Okay, it's drastically altered here now. Interesting.
What does it say?
It is 50 points for a legendary raid or catching a legendary Pokemon. Specifically catching, I want to point that out.
Oh,
anyway, and 10 for hatch and egg, 10. And 5 for catch a Pokemon.
Okay, so we're going to be flying through these levels in comparison. So also what I will say though, what's really nice is that it tells you when you rank up in the bottom right hand of your screen. So if you throw your ball at the legendary Pokemon and it pops up, you know you caught it. It's awesome.
I did. I saw that already from that. I'm like, oh, hey, I love that feature. Too bad it's not here to stay.
Yes, I know.
So question, how easily did you finish it while you were at the Rose Bowl?
We finished it. Alex, who was there with me, he finished it on Saturday, by the end of Saturday, I think. And then I finished it.
That's not bad because Alex is not really a hardcore.
He was raiding the whole time. He was doing his best Kyle impression, let me tell you.
Okay. Well, yeah, but the rating was only mildly more effective than just catching and stuff. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I was incubating 9 deep. There wasn't a point when I wasn't, right? So I was doing okay. But I was walking, man. I wasn't doing a lot of those raids because if you remember from our Indianapolis GoFest trip that we did, I do not like raiding Zekrom and Reshiram.
Yeah.
I don't.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I love Zekrom and Reshiram as legendaries. Big fan. I think they're behind. They're cool. They're behind Kyogre and Groudon for me. Big fans.
They're cool, man. But the catch sequence for those guys is rough.
Well, I think we covered enough of that we can talk about the past details now. I just wanted to kind of get a barometer for it because I have some feelings. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about this.
Okay.
Overall.
All right. So let's move on to the next article then, which I've removed the redundant information, at least as far as I can tell. And this is for the tour pass details, the rest. So now that you kind of understand how the free version is going to look, you can, if you're listening to this, you've actually had access to the tour pass in this week lead up event, this Road to Unova thing. But it will open up more. I think there were daily limits for how far you could progress during the week that during the event days will be lifted. So that's cool.
Yes, that is currently happening right now.
Yes. So let's talk about the deluxe version here. What is Tour Pass Deluxe? A paid version of the Tour Pass called Tour Pass Deluxe will be available for trainers looking for upgraded rewards and faster progression. When you upgrade to a Tour Pass Deluxe, you'll get an immediate encounter with the mythical Pokemon Victini. All trainers can encounter Victini by purchasing a Tour Pass Deluxe, even if they've caught it before. While progressing through the Tour Pass Deluxe, you'll be able to claim all of the rewards from both of the free Tour Pass and the Tour Pass Deluxe. You can upgrade to a Tour Pass Deluxe at any time and still collect rewards from previously unlocked tiers. This is like a seasonal battle pass format. Y'all know it. Trainers with the Tour Pass Deluxe can also earn a brand new item, the Lucky Trinket, when they reach the highest tier. We'll talk about that item at the end of this article, so hold your questions. I'm sure you have them, Kyle. I do already have one, by the way. We had them at the in-person event as well. You got it from the Tour Pass. Rewards unlocked in the Tour Pass Deluxe will expire on Sunday, March 9th at 6 p.m. local time, so be sure to claim your rewards before they're gone. So that's a week after this event. Make sure you claim them all. Now, outside, I will say this because I already mentioned it prior. You have to click on the things that are encounters, but for everything else, incense, Pokeballs, and the mountain of Stardust that there is at some point, it's just nothing but Stardust. You can click the Claim All Rewards button, and it'll claim them all automatically all at once. You don't have to tap through them one at a time. You can if you want the dopamine that way, but I wouldn't recommend it. Put on a star piece and claim 100 Stardust rewards at once. Just do it, Collecting tour points. We touched on this briefly, but here you go. Here's the official take on this here. While you'll begin your tour pass with no points, your first reward will be already unlocked, the Go Tour 2025 T avatar item. You can collect tour points to reach larger rewards, unlocking items and ranking up as you go. You can earn tour points in two ways. Activities like catching Pokemon, completing raids, and hatching eggs will each earn you a small amount of points. The more you play, the more you earn. Want to earn points faster? A new type of tasks will be available, and completing them will award you with even more points. Completing these quick event-themed tasks will help you collect more points and rank up, getting you to more rewards in less time. Yes, that's what faster means. I'm glad they reiterated that. Thank you. During the Road to Unova event, which will probably be over by the time you're hearing this, you can earn up to 150 bonus points daily in addition to the points earned by past tasks. There's no limit on how many points can be earned during day 1 and day 2 of the actual event. And past tasks refresh daily from Monday, February 24th through Friday, February 28th. During the actual event, the tasks will refresh every hour from 10 to 5 p.m. local time each day. So you'll have many opportunities to do those. I'm not sure. Have you been doing them, Kyle?
I did them. Wait, are the tasks? Yes, I did whatever task I had today. But I like I said, I have not opened Go until today.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, but I did whatever it was today. I think it was. Oh no, I have not finished it. It's just like a catching Pokemon one. I've only done like 20 out of 25 because I opened.
Oh, okay, yeah, that one's pretty easy to finish up.
But that's a daily task versus the past task will refresh every hour. So I guess that's not very much. Not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, you'll be distracted doing a million other things, and we don't know if these will be similar things like Catch 25 or if they'll be more involved.
Well, no, but like it's still only going to refresh once an hour. Yeah. So that means you're going to get 16 of these.
Yeah.
And each one looks like, I'm just assuming based on mine gives 50 points, which is one level. So you get 16 levels, quote unquote, for free just by completing them.
Is it 50 points a level?
Well, it's a 50 points a level for me right now, but I'm like right at the start. I don't know if I can guess it goes up, but I literally can't see that. So,
oh, it is 50. It was 10 at the event. Oh,
well, which makes sense. Raids gave 10 instead of 50, and now raids give 50. So a raid is still one level.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay,
but it's actually worse now because you have to hatch 5 eggs for one level instead of 2 eggs for one level.
Gotcha.
I don't know. There's plenty to say here, which I think we can finish first before we say.
Yeah, man, I also don't see tier 4, by the way. I'm scrolling through this. It's so funny. Anyway,
I can only assume the transition at 100 to just Stardust is.
it's got to be.
Is it?
Yeah, it's got to be. But anyway, yeah, once an hour, you can do these tasks and get like a bunch of points while you're also earning your points other ways while you're playing. Let's talk about the Lucky Trinket lastly here. It's your lucky day. The Lucky Trinket, a new item in Pokemon Go, will debut as the final reward in the Tour Pass Deluxe during Pokemon Go Tour Unova Global. A Lucky Trinket is a one-time use item that can be used to turn one friend from your friends list into a lucky friend. When used, the Lucky Trinket will set the status of you and your chosen friend to lucky, even if you aren't best friends. When you're lucky friends with someone, the next time you trade with each other, both Pokemon become lucky Pokemon. After the trade, your lucky friend status will be cleared. This exciting item will only stay in your item bag for a limited time, so don't forget to use it. The Lucky Trinket earned as a part of Pokemon Go Tour Unova Global will expire on Sunday, March 9th at 6 p.m. local time, regardless of when you claimed it.
I don't like that.
Well, they don't want people holding on to it, I guess.
I don't like that. Also, so this is just a classic. We're going to move back for a second. Classic case of misinformation from Niantic. The part that says tier 3 reward is the tier 4 reward.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because if you go and click on it, it tells you what you get, and it's tier 3 tour pass bonuses gives 3 times catch experience and 3 times duration. So
okay, yeah,
I don't know why.
The way that they have it broken out here is a tier 2 reward, tier 3, and tier 4, but they have a tier 1 in the actual pass. That's why it's misnumbered.
But I don't understand why it had to be confusing. But yes.
Who knows?
Either way, you have to get to 80. You have to get to 80 to get the full benefit. I don't know why that had to be confusing. But
if you're playing, it should be super doable.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. Yeah. Okay.
Here's the last little thing about this, and then we'll talk about Lucky Trinket. You must be at least great friends with the trainer you wish to apply your Lucky Trinket to. You cannot use a Lucky Trinket with a trainer you are currently lucky friends with. Using a Lucky Trinket on a friend does not change the distance at which you can complete a trade, that kind of things. If you do not want to allow other trainers to use their Lucky Trinkets on you, you can disable this permission in your settings page.
Oh, man, that's so funny. Oh, my God.
Well, yeah.
Just savage. Niantic is never that savage.
I love that it's like so plain. It's like, don't think you're smart. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Okay, so it's a battle pass. Sort of.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to not like it. But I can't. I can't. I don't have. There's literally the only negative thing I have to say about this is I don't like that it's tied to one specific event.
Oh, sure.
I don't like that, and I would prefer if it was tied to a season.
Yeah, man.
Like if this had started at the start of the season, was much longer, and stuff like that. Cool, but this is just one more thing that you don't get to do if you're not available this weekend to play like a long amount of time.
Yeah.
Like even let's just say you're grinding, you probably will need 6 hours to do this.
Yeah. I think if you're playing and all cylinders are firing, like you're doing the raid, you got your plus going, all that stuff, you could probably do it. You could probably do it in 6. Yeah. Probably to get to level 80s, level 80, you mean? Probably.
Well, I'm considering 100 because the Lucky Trinket is at 100, right?
Yeah, that still could be feasible. Yeah,
but like, see, Chris, I'm being positive. Chris is hesitating. That should tell you everything you need to know there.
But I've done one.
But this is also you did the easier one. Remember how much easier the Masterwork was for not Celebi. Good Lord. Jirachi. Remember how easy the Jirachi one was compared to that global?
I by the way, man, for the record, I loved watching all of you suffer.
I'm still suffering. We don't need to talk about that. But if you have to assume somebody is not hardcore grinding, so I'm going to assume somebody's not doing every single raid that is available to them, because that's the average player. Let's be real, especially at a global. This is going to be hard to make the headway you want, which is to say get the lucky trinket, assuming you're buying it, of course.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest gripe I have. Obviously, if you're doing the run up, if you've done it all this week, you get an extra, what is that? That's 3 levels a day for 6 days, 5 days. So, another 15.
I'm at 15 now. So I think with the daily tasks, you also get more.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about the daily tasks. Fair enough. The daily tasks are another 5. So 20.
Yeah. Yep.
20 plus the hourly tasks, assuming you get all hourly tasks. I'm going to assume you're not going to get all hourly tasks if you're not.
Let's say a 50% hit rate on that. Yeah.
That's another 8. So you're at 28 before you start playing the event.
Yeah. Which is a lot.
It is a lot. That's really my biggest gripe. I think I love the idea of a battle pass. I know there's a lot of negative stigma around battle passes in gaming right now.
Yeah.
And I question the value that this brings overall. We've talked about this for a very long time. The concept of battle passes, especially in Go.
We have.
I honestly was never expecting them to put it in as wholesale as this is. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have, this is a silly nitpick. I would have liked to seen rare candy in here.
Yeah, they could have done that. It would have been cool if after 100, when they switch it to just getting Stardust rewards every single tier, if it was every other or every 5 was a rare candy, or if you were above level 31, it was a candy XL, a rare candy XL.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty rad.
And I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna just be me. Maybe. Pokemon encounters are the last thing I want to see here.
Well, there's not a lot. There really isn't a bunch.
If you have the premium pass, there is a lot.
Yeah, but
no, I'm talking. There's dozens of them, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
It's too many.
Once you get through them, though, you never have to think about it. You just at the end of the event, you're like, boop, 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 done.
I think that's my point, though, is that because it's tied to the event, you have all these catches you want to do, and stuff like that.
It is built out, though, man. And this, I think, is to its benefit. Even if you feel the way that you feel to the nth degree, I know that you're feeling part of this because it's a partial annoyance. But if you strongly dislike the idea of doing the encounters and things like that, the pass is set up so that you can just play the event, do your stuff. You're still going to progress. You can just claim it all later after you're done, after the event is over, so it doesn't get in your way of the play. After the first day, just go claim all of them. And if you played all day on Saturday, you're going to be completely fine and pass those encounters probably anyway. And then you don't have to worry about it.
Well, I mean, you still have to catch them.
Yeah, but it won't get in the way of your event play because you can just claim them after the event has concluded for the day.
Yeah. That's kind of tedium at that point, especially because most of the encounters are not very good encounters.
Hey man, you might get
I genuinely would have rather had anything but encounters.
You might get a Hundo Snivy like I did.
Okay,
dude, I gotta tell you, I got 3 Hundos. One was a Snivy. I just told you. What do you think the other 2 were?
Oh, I mean, it must not be a Tepig because you would have said that, right?
Yeah, I would have.
I don't know what else is actually in the pool at all right now.
Kyle?
Yeah?
2 Bouffalon.
Bouffalon? Are you kidding me?
2 Bouffalons.
Okay. That's hilarious, actually. All these trips to New York, what was the point?
What was the point, man? Oh,
what
man.
What are we going to New York for? Yeah, I don't know. It's it is great value, but it is another thing to spend money on. But flip side. And we were going to talk about this in a minute, but we'll say it here. You don't have to pay for this. You don't have to pay for the tour itself, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your ticket. And I think that's great. I was saying earlier, there's a lot of negative connotations around battle passes. I have bought many battle passes. I bought the first like 20 battle passes when I played Genshin. I don't buy it anymore because I don't need the resources, but I've bought multiples in other gacha games. I've bought at least 2 in League of Legends, and those battle passes are bad. So
yeah, I keep buying the TFT ones.
You want to see drama, you should go look up the Hex Tech chests for League of Legends. But
no.
I think there's really good value here, and if this was season long, I would have no issues at all either.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this is new, right? This is their way of largely testing it, and it's in like a fail-safe scenario, right? Where they had 2 events in person to stress test it without the two tracks, and then they had a lead-up event to trickle it in to stress test it again. And
as silly as it sounds, if hopefully their companies intercommunicating, they've had at least 3 battle passes in Monster Hunter now, maybe more.
Yeah.
That work very similarly to this. So
yeah, with the 2 tracks and everything too. Yeah, 100%.
Well, 2 tracks, you can grind as much as you want and all that kind of stuff. But
I'm all positive though, man. I'm all positive on it. I mean, I will say, like, everything you're saying it's completely valid, and I can see that too. And when I got home from my trip, I was talking to my sister. I was like, "Hey, you got any time this weekend so we can hang out and do the global event?" She's like, "Oh yeah, maybe I might have time on Saturday or whatever." She's like, "Man, but I gotta tell you, that pass is that's overwhelming." I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, there was a lot going on visually, like way too much." And I said, "You know what? I get that. I really, really do." And I think it's okay, I'm going to sit down for a few minutes, wrap my head around this, and then it's completely fine. But that's a big ask.
No, I disagree. Here's a big thing. And I kind of want to hear other people's opinions because we're bad to ask this. And a lot of people we know are really bad to ask. We are, and this is going to sound really silly, bear with me. We are too gamer brained. Yeah. We already understand all of the systems that gaming companies have used for the last 30 years to make their games. All of the expectations of user interfaces, all of the understandings of here's where you progress, here's to see your total, here's to see the whole thing, go find the end, here's the instructions. Like, we understand that from like a basic level. So any system that implements it is not very hard to understand. Somebody who doesn't already know that, this is a lot. It's intimidating. Even though at the basic level, it's play the game and you get stuff. That's it.
Yeah, no, I can agree. Yeah. It's also like in a menu, like it's brand new.
That's not labeled. This absolutely should be its own menu.
Yeah, it should be its own tab.
Needs its own menu, not under the field research.
Yeah, man, I think you're right. And yeah, it is kind of difficult for the two of us to sort of separate that out, like sift through that a bit. Man,
because I clicked the button, I'm like, oh, this is every battle pass I've ever seen. I know everything I'm looking at already. But could you imagine somebody who only plays Pokemon Go? They've never played another video game in their life.
Yeah,
and they're just like, here's a wall of things.
I mean, even my sister, right? Mm-hmm. She's a little bit older than me, but like in the grand scheme of things, especially at our ages, we're pretty close, right? She's 4 years older than me, and which means that we grew up like playing the same video games together. And she's not alien to video games. She doesn't play them a lot now, but she has a Switch, and she played N64 and GameCube and stuff and PlayStation with me as we were growing up. But even that, having a reasonable foundation in gaming, and my sister's got gamer sense for sure, whatever that word means anymore. And it was still overwhelming. So I think there's definitely merit in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd like to hear more people's opinions on it, but honestly, I think it is just objectively good if you can get past the overwhelming nature of it. I mean, and again, like we were saying before, if it is overwhelming and you're like, I can't focus on this and the event, don't focus on it. Check it out after you're done with your gameplay stuff. It'll still be there. You won't have to like jump in and get to level 20 to unlock a research. At least I don't think so. So just do that, take it one thing at a time.
Question for whatever it's worth. Do you need to claim the daily tasks, or do you just immediately get the 50 points or whatever as soon as it's done?
I did it this morning and now I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it just happens.
I would hope so. If you don't, that is something that you actually have to check every hour, but
Yeah.
you also probably should check that every hour in case it's like feed berries and you're not feeding berries or something like that. But
I also want to say, and I hope that this is the same at Global, but you remember at the top of every hour they had like the unknown hour thing. They did this at GoFest too, but for this one, the top of every hour for like a minute and a half or so, it's Zaru a minute.
Oh man,
yep,
I love it.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Maybe it's for Global. I hope it is. Anyway, hey, that's the news, but we're not done talking about Unova Tour Global. In fact, it's I can't believe we're gonna do this, Kyle. It's time for Gear Up.
This week on Gear Up, you're not gonna believe it. We're gonna just keep talking about Unova Tour Global. the actual event this time, not everything else surrounding it.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Yeah.
First things first, we have new fusions coming to the game. They're already here, obviously, from regular tour. We've got Black Kyurem and White Kyurem. I don't actually know the details. I'm assuming it's the same exact system as Necrozma. Oh, I see. Fancy. How are the stats, though?
This is 98%, sir.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is the same. I was holding up my phone, by the way. But yeah, no, it is the same. Like even the adventure effect, like the freeze shock stuff is the same in the menu too.
Is it the same amount of energy?
It is 1,000 fusion energy to do it.
That is the same amount of energy.
Yeah, and I don't know because I haven't separated them. I don't know if you get a discounted amount.
I doubt it.
I doubt
didn't
it
work
too.
for Necrozma. But so 1,000 each and you need 2. So that's still some, like, even with the free stuff from the past, that's probably 15 raids, which worth mentioning. The pass much later on does have free fusion energy, but it's such a small amount. I'm not going to factor it in.
But ideally, and especially if you're raiding enough to get that done, the amount of Kyurem you're going to have. Okay. Oh, also top tip, the Kyurem that you fuse is the IVs that you end up using. So
yes, it is the same process as Necrozma.
Yeah. So just to clarify really quick, if you're listening, you haven't heard from the other stuff from previous years, get a good Kyurem, fuse it with a bad Reshiram or a bad Zekrom that you won't miss, and then you'll never have to split them up.
And as mentioned earlier in the show, Kyurem has to know Glaciate if you want it to know Ice Burn or Freeze Bolt.
Yes, sir.
Freeze Bolt? No. Freeze Shock. There you go. Freeze Shock.
Freeze Shock.
Freeze Bolt was the better name, but I don't. Anyways, so here's the part where I get to not be very helpful, but share information anyways. I have no idea which one of these is actually strictly better.
Oh, okay.
Because they have the same exact base stats, same Pokemon technically, unlike Dawnwings and Dustmane with different stats and typing. They have the same typing. Because why make it easy?
Even has the same typing as Kyurem, dude. It's so funny.
What are they doing?
I don't know, man. Whatever.
They couldn't have kept the ice type and mixed it with the other off. No, they had to be dragon type, so it wouldn't have been exciting. Anyways, but they have different fast moves, and the signature moves are extremely different. Like they are very, very different. It's kind of surprising they didn't just make them really similar, but
yeah.
So I'm just going to share some information instead, and you can make your own educated decisions. And I'll tell you what I'll probably do or care more about as well afterwards. But Black doesn't learn an ice fast move, so you have to use Dragon Tail. That's the only option. Doesn't matter. Dragon Tail. White does learn Ice Fang. Ice Fang's good. Anything that's weak against ice, but not weak to dragon, then White is significantly better by like a very large margin. But anything that's weak to dragon and ice. Wait, did I misspeak? No, I just typed better. I just typed poorly. And I'm reading my notes poorly. Oh my goodness. Black, White, Kyurem, Reshiram, Zekrom.
This happens in person, by the way, too, when we're all trying to explain how these things work to each other. Like, wait, no. The opposite of that. Like,
let's try. Yeah, we're going to try again now. So against anything that's weak to ice, but not weak to dragon, then White is going to be significantly better. But anything that's weak to dragon and ice, like say another dragon type or
Yeah.
a dragon flying type even, then black will be better because Dragon Tail is pretty awesome. In a neutral matchup where neither dragon or ice is resisted, then black will be better. Yeah, that's the best information I got. Everyone was arguing in all of the conversations and stuff that I saw. Strictly speaking, white has higher DPS from everything I saw. So
Okay.
I will probably make my better Kyurem into a white Kyurem.
I mean, yeah, and it is important to remember that if you have enough Kyurem and Reshiram, Zekrom, which you will if you have enough energy to fuse them in the first place, you can just have one of each.
You definitely. You should.
Yeah.
The goal should be one of each. But of course, if you are not paying for raids, you can't get both.
Right.
It's worth mentioning.
Right.
Unless you've saved up a lot of Poke coins running up to this event, of course. But that's the new fusions. Next up, there is Shiny Meloetta. Now, this is a paid masterwork research, just to be clear.
Yep.
Can't wait to have this one sitting in the inventory for the next 5 years. And that's all there is to say about that one. How did you feel your masterwork was while you were there, Chris?
I mean, I'm still in the first step. I have
Still first
not
step.
gotten past. Dude, the first
I
step.
didn't look at the steps. What's the first step? I need to know how bad it is.
The first step is catch like 150 Pokemon originally from Kanto, catch 100 from Johto, catch 135 from Hoenn,
Goodness.
catch 107 from Sinnoh, and then some other tasks that I already finished.
That was probably like be level 40.
It's probably like open the game.
No, hey,
But yeah.
hey, don't downplay other people's accomplishments. Level 40 is hard.
It is, yeah, okay, man. And then it's step 1 of 7. So
Yeah, I think every master research has been 7 so far. Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting.
But if there was any doubt about the shiny Meloetta, the rewards for this first step are 10 Reshiram candy, 10 Zekrom candy, and the shiny Meloetta t-shirt. So really giving up the ghost right away, man. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, they're not hiding it. They tell you what's in the research. They gotta tell you.
That's fine. I just thought it was hysterical, you know.
All right. Instead of going through every single spawn of this event, I'm going to talk about some noteworthy new features, and then we can each talk about some stuff that's coming out in the biomes in particular. First up, of course, is Shiny Deerling is being released everywhere for this. All 4 seasons. 1 in each biome.
Yes.
Shiny Sigilif, Maractus, and Bouffalant are being released. 10k eggs will be only these 3 plus Larvesta. Although they're not the only place you can get at least one of these, which is interesting. Only one of them. Shiny Unknown, U, N, O, V, and A. I did it in spelling order, not in alphabetical order, because it bothers me.
What does that spell, man?
We'll never know. We'll never know.
I don't know how to read.
All right. Now, Chris, you've taken a look at the biomes. What would you like to shout out to the people? Or what looks nice to you from the 4 biomes?
As somebody who struggled with getting Deerling, my answers are Deerling, and Deerling. Yeah, that's really it.
Cheating. Everyone wants the Deerling.
No, okay. So I have a couple, right? So Winter Caverns, Joltik. If you're still on the hunt for that, that's cool.
Yes.
Cryogonal and Vanillite.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Vanillite shiny is rather recent. In Spring Soiree, Venipede, Fungus for the extra Stardust, Ducklet because it's still kind of new from GoFest. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, the Elemental Monkeys are also a boot and a boot here.
Yeah, that's
Spring
good for
Soiree's
regional
got
collecting.
Yeah.
You also missed Audino in Spring Soiree.
I mean, for the extra Stardust, yeah, but like, I don't know, Audino is just so blasé at this time.
It's so much Stardust.
I mean, you're not wrong. You are right.
Stardust.
I think in Summer Vacations where I wanna be, I would probably say Emolga if you don't have the shiny yet. I want to say P-Dub so bad, but I can't pretend that I'm serious.
No.
Rufflet, Darumaka, probably. Yeah. I think the rest of this is pretty strong. Oh, I guess Stunfisk, man. I guess you and I have seen so many Stunfisk, and you had a love affair with Stunfisk for a while there.
Gosh.
You walked that thing for that was the longest walk on the beach.
300 kilometers. Second longest. I walked Spiritomb longer.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. The last one is Autumn Masquerade, and I think Elgium, Frillish, and Gothita are highlights there.
Nailed it completely. Both Frillish, by the way, are going to be spawning male and female. That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
And stand out. The Pikachus will be spawning in these biomes for those that care.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
It's not unique, by the way. As far as I can see, all 4 can spawn in all 4 biomes.
Yes.
That is different than they've done the last 2 times. So
yeah,
that's both better and worse.
Kind of underwhelming hats, I think, this time. The visor's cute. I think the hat is old hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. What about you? Any other highlights besides the ones that we just listed?
I think you named it. For me though, I mean the highlights definitely Frillish and Elgium. Big fans of those. And I still love Ferroseed and it's shiny. Still haven't had the greatest opportunities for it. So those are my call outs to be a little bit more specific.
Ferroseed is in Spring Soiree.
And then we have field research tasks. Now, here's the thing. There's 2 different types of field research tasks. There's regular field research tasks, which are the 4 hat Pikachus, the 4 Deerlings, and red and blue Basculin. Because reasons.
Yeah.
This is fine, It'll probably feel bad to get the Pikachu instead of the Deerling, but be extra bad to get the Basculin.
It would. It would. I had to trade for those, man. I couldn't get the shinies. I had to trade for both Basculin.
But there is also a special type of field research that is going to be more rare that will have a special guaranteed background with the Pokemon that you encounter. I'm just going to read through the list here really quick. But the idea of the special background, if it appeals to you, you're probably already really hyped about it. We got Purloin, Pidove, Boldore, Woobat, Timber, Timpole, Sandile, Darumaka, Darmanitan, Scraggy, Sigilyph, Joltik, Ferroseed, and Clink. Now, this is where I was mentioning you can get Sigilyph from a rare field research task.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like that, yeah. It feels like Maractus and Boufflant should have just been in this pool too.
So do you know what the deal is here?
No, I have no
with this
idea.
pool. All right, so these are from field research from they're called Enigma field research, and they drop from special stops called Enigma stops. You can kind of tell what they look like if you click on them. They have a weird specific design on them, and at the bottom of them there's a little Pokeball symbol, so that might help you identify them. At least this is how they at least appeared in LA, in the city. But these are all Pokemon that N has from the games.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
What a lackluster collection of Pokemon for a Pokemon trainer to have, huh?
Hey, yeah. The Sandile is cool. Getting a chance at a shiny Sandile there instead of maybe out of a 12-kilometer egg once every 3 months, or whatever, is cool,
The rocket radar grinders are laughing at you.
I'm talking to the normal folks out there. I'm not even talking to myself right now, man.
Yeah. No, Sandile is cool for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. That's the event. There's bonus features. I'm not going to talk about half hatch distance, increased lucky trades, or not lucky trades, special trades, no remote raid limits, but yeah.
I'm not going to talk about this list of stuff. Here it is.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. I just listed it.
It is also notable that in the routes, red and blue stripe Basculin will be in the routes, not white stripe.
Yeah, I meant to note that. I forgot to write it down. There you go.
There's that. And there's also duos and party play for the encounters. They have Throw, Salk, Heatmore, and Durant encounters, which, party play.
Too much.
So.
It's too much.
It's just they just
You got-
tucked stuff and everything.
You got
know what
eggs,
I mean?
you got field research tasks, you got party play, you got routes, you got did I say raids, you got incense. It's just too much, man.
Yeah, but like at the same time, if they don't, like if there was nothing on incense, they'd be like, what are they doing?
Well,
You
yeah,
know?
but the incense is expected. The party play and the routes.
Well,
are
that's just
not
because we don't
necessarily.
want party boy. What about the PvPers, man? What are they getting?
They're getting Stardust when they catch Audino.
Okay. I mean, you're not wrong. You're certainly not wrong, man. All right, cool. Well, I hope between all the stuff that we said for news and here for Gear Up, I hope that you, dear listener, are feeling prepared and ready to tackle Unova Tour Global this weekend. All right, then we're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we'll continue on with the show. And we're back from our short break. It's time for Pokélore. And this week, we're going to be talking about Kyurem. Surprise, surprise. The boundary Pokemon. I believe we've covered Kyurem in the past, but it would be sacrilege and disrespectful if we didn't talk about Kyurem this episode. So, first up, base Kyurem. Kyurem is a gray and blue bipedal Pokemon of indefinable but seemingly draconic basis. Kyurem has a blue head and snout and has yellow. That's such a crazy sentence, dude. I can't.
That's the most we don't have something to compare this to sentence I've ever heard in my life.
It's not like anything. It's like
It's
itself.
not like anything. We can't make a reference here.
Step right up. You've never seen anything like this before. All right. Kyurem has a blue head and snout and has yellow eyes without pupils, a pair of pointed light bluish horns on its head, and a yellow crest on its skull that is bioluminescent. 3 pointed teeth jut out of the bottom of either side of its jaws, which are frozen shut by the ice covering its head. Poor guy.
Oof.
Its long, God, that's rough. Its long gray neck has lines running around its whole body, legs, arms, and tail. It has 2 arms, each with 2 claws, and each arm is joined by its oddly shaped blue ice wings. Throw a little shade in this too. Alrighty. Each wing has 2 spikes, which are bioluminescent. If its wings are broken, gray tendril-like appendages are revealed on Kyurem's back. The right side of its body seems to be damaged in some way, as the wing and horn on its head on that side are shorter. The right side of its head also has a spiked edge near its jaw hinge that is absent from its left. Its legs are somewhat slender and have 3 sharp ice-like claws on each enormous foot. Big feet, somewhat slender legs. They're just trashing this Pokemon, dude. This is so mean. No need to body shame Kyurem, dude. Come on, now.
I mean, it's kind of worth it. I don't know. Kyurem's a little undercooked compared to
that's like
Reshiram and Zekrom. So
yeah, that's fair, man. I think you're right. Enormous foot is wild though. Its tail has 3 blue conical spikes on its tip and appears to be some sort of propulsion device or container of energy. Exactly what it is based on is unclear, but it may be a damaged turbine. Could be. I don't know. Who knows? Kyurem generates powerful freezing energy inside itself, but its body becomes frozen when the energy leaks out. It appears that this Pokemon uses its ice powers to freeze its own body in order to stabilize its cellular structure. Pushes glasses up. It is said to have a power that exceeds that of Reshiram and Zekrom. However, this power is kept at bay by the extreme cold. It's its own greatest enemy.
That it deliberately freezes itself.
Yeah. Gosh, I wish my mouth wasn't frozen shut. Anyway, time to use my ice magic. Kyurem can use its tendril-like appendages to transform Reshiram and Zekrom back into their respective Dragonstones, and even abso-fuse with them while they're in that state. Abso-fuse is a wild phrase.
What? Why anyway, does that just leads back to the page for fusion?
Yeah, maybe that's the name of this particular type of fusion. Could be.
Okay.
Who knows? Kyurem is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Glaciate by leveling up. Kyurem has 2 alternate forms, White Kyurem and Black Kyurem. These forms are formed by abso-fusing, there we go, with Reshiram and Zekrom, respectively, sharing many aspects of their designs with them. it can abso-fuse with them in their respective dragon stones to change to white or black Kyurem. The reason for this is due to the sameness of Kyurem, Reshiram, and Zekrom's genes, allowing said fusion. It's like Goku and Vegeta. As a result,
why did we need to know that?
We don't.
Why do we need to know they confuse because their genes are similar?
I don't know, man. Have you ever had a friend that you can share genes with? Like, it's just nice to have somebody in your size.
I've not.
Yeah, me neither. Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants was a bygone era for me personally, man. Yeah. As a result, Kyurem also shares Reshiram or Zekrom's beliefs in truths or ideals, respectively, when fused with either of the two dragons. It's also said to wait for a hero to I'm just holding out for a hero to fill in the missing parts of its body with truth or ideals. Okay. In Kyurem versus the Sword of Justice, Kyurem can also change into black Kyurem or white Kyurem without fusing by channeling the powers of both Reshiram and Zekrom it has within itself. Wow, there's a lot of narrative storytelling there going on that's really vague on purpose, and I kind of love it. And I kind of hate it at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what to tell you. Let's talk about some stats here because there's quite a bit. So for base form, max CP at level 40 is 3575 and at 50 is 4041. Not a slouch. Not at all. Fused though, and this goes for both forms because like Kyle mentioned before, same base stats, just some different move sets. And same typing too. So it's like whatever. Fused at level 40 is 4605 and at 50 is 5206. Crazy strong.
That's crazy.
Stats for base form Kyurem is 245 stamina, 170 defense, and 246 attack, which is pretty good on its own. But fused, oh baby, 245 stamina, 183 defense, and 310 attack.
Oof.
310 attack. That's 10 more than Mewtwo, folks. That's pretty crazy.
It is.
Best moveset for base is Dragon Breath with Draco Meteor and Glaciate. For black Kyurem, it's going to be Dragon Tail with Outrage and Freeze, Shock, Froshaga. White Kyurem, Ice Fang with Dragon Pulse and Ice Burn. Yeah, guys, that's it. Hey, I think we've already talked about Kyurem, Reshiram, and Zekrom quite a bit. I just don't care for legendaries that much from this generation. Really, I think I only like the Therian forms of the genies, and I really only like Reshiram and Zekrom. I kind of don't care for the fusions, and I kind of really don't care for Kyurem. I'll be honest with you.
I agree completely. I like Zekrom and Reshiram quite a bit, but black and white Kyurem and regular Kyurem as well, never don't like it. I think I've probably only done like 10 Kyurem raids total.
Yeah.
Ever, just because I don't care.
Fusion feels weird to me. It's almost like it doesn't belong. I mean, very clearly it does. And some of these designs are pretty sick, even if I don't think that they're like favorites of mine. They're cool. It always felt weird. It felt weird in the games. It still feels weird to me now, but I think I'm like a weird sort of backwards purist on some of this stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Duskmane and Dawnwings feel like they have much more of like a stronger identity as a fusion. White and black Kyurem were very much Game Freak, or maybe we'll say TPC, not knowing what they actually wanted. They really do just look like Zekrom / Reshiram with a couple of parts of Kyurem kind of stuck on.
Yeah, and I feel like that. I mean, that's the idea, right? Like Kyurem is like a falling apart dragon, and with like parts missing, and then those parts that are missing then fill out from whatever they fuse with, right?
Yeah, but that only works if the others are also parts. Reshiram and Zekrom are full, complete identities that I think work very strongly by themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a Full Metal Alchemist scenario, maybe. Who knows?
So.
Yeah, I don't know. This is
only
me
one more
idea.
fusion to go, everybody.
One more fusion.
One more fusion.
Which one?
Calyrex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a fusion.
You're not wrong. This has given me an idea, though. I gotta say, I think I'm gonna get my two fuse because I have both of them already right from the event. I got to nickname one Vegito and the other one Gogeta. I just have to decide which one is going to be which.
Okay. Are you keeping up with Dragon Ball Daima?
I have not been watching it because I didn't want to watch a GT again when they were kids, but I'm very up to date on what they've canonized, and I think I've made a mistake.
Yeah. Okay.
I've made a mistake, Kyle. I need to watch it. I made a mistake.
We'll talk later. Anyways, Dragon Ball fans know.
I can't believe they did it.
I couldn't either. I saw the news and I'm like, oh, maybe I need to watch it now.
Anyways.
It's time for PokéPoll.
Oh, it is. All right, cool.
Oh, we didn't have a last week's PokéPoll, so we just have this week's PokéPoll. And that is, how and when do you think we'll see elusive Pokemon such as Arceus or Keldeo in Pokemon Go?
Now again, we've had Keldeo already, right? So
technically, yes. Keldeo has been in the game once. And we've talked about Arceus in the past, but it's such a hard conversation. Keldeo is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
that it's not in the game.
Oh, I agree. I'll give you that for sure.
But maybe this doesn't fall into the category, but I think it should. Rotoms.
Oh,
I think there's only one Rotom ? That hasn't been released yet. So what's the future for Rotom look like? Who gets to get Rotom again?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we kind of blew through that. I think as Rotom, as like the Rotom phone becomes more involved, that I guess that's the word to say, in these other games, these newer games like Galar and such, that we will see it when we get to like those tours. We'll probably see more Rotom because they'll try to fit in the Rotom phone element somewhere.
Maybe. We've had a Rotom Dex though. I think Kalos had a Rotom Dex.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think for the parts that they missed and to see some more returns of those, I think that would make more sense.
Keldeo needs a special research given to everybody. It's incredible that it hasn't happened yet.
It needs an apology.
There's no other way to bring it out.
Yeah.
I don't even think it needs its own tour or connected event at this point. They've already passed everything up.
It doesn't need its own tour. I said it just needs an apology tour.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. They'll do like a whole year on Arceus. It'll be the whole year. And at the end of the year, we'll be so sick of it. We never want to see it again.
How much do you think? How much of a chance do you think there was? They were like, yeah, now that we're relaunching Elite Raids, we finally have somewhere to put Arceus for like 2 years. And then the Elite Raids just like kept breaking and like not working and weren't very popular.
It definitely had to at least be considered, for sure.
I think so too. Yeah, my answer is like, I would have expected, like if you had asked me this last year, I would have been like, yeah, there's no way we get through Unova Tour and not see Keldeo once. Here we are. Right. So that would have been my answer was, at the tour events. And I kind of considered Arceus an outlier already. Anyway, it's got the multiple forms. It's kind of problematic. It's the god of all Pokemon. Right. So it could have its own event or its own theme or series of seasons that it could be, rolled out in some own way. And that would still feel right. But Pokemon like Keldeo and like you're saying, Rotom and some other Pokemon, like, if not at their tours, then when?
Yep.
So I'm sure there are more creative answers out there than what we've both given here. So
I guess, the thing I think about for Arceus every time is, what do? You put it, is it at a GoFest? Does it take a whole GoFest for itself? But at that point, do I really want to raid Arceus for, 6 days?
Right.
Do I want to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday at location and then 5 days, Saturday, Sunday at global? Like, Arceus is cool, but Arceus is not going to be relevant in Go. It's not gonna matter.
Yeah, it's gonna run the risk that like the Genesect thing does, where it's like, oh, it's got a new drive. I guess I'll catch it. But like, am I like, oh man, I can't. It's so good, we got this new raid boss. Time to switch out to my fire drive. Like, no, nobody does that. And I doubt we'll do it for Arceus too.
Well, difference though for Arceus is Arceus's type itself changes, so it gets stab if it can learn an appropriate move.
I would so much rather them find out a way to have a feature where it is just one Arceus and either move that you have on it or form changes that you can do with that one. You can change it up and around and stuff rather than having, 12 or whatever it is, 18 or whatever it happens to be.
Well, Arceus needs to be released with form changing capabilities 100%.
Yeah. Okay. I would agree. Well, dear listener, if you have an answer to this week's Pokéball question, which is how and when do you think you'll see elusive Pokemon? Sorry, we'll see. I guess you are included with that. How and when do you think you will see elusive Pokemon such as Arceus or Keldeo in Pokemon Go? You can answer that question when we post this on our socials. That's going to be on X and Threads. You can also send us an email to mail@gocastpodcast.com. You can even call in with your answer by calling 262-586-7717. If you're a patron of ours, we have an entire channel dedicated to it in our patron exclusive Discord server. We have an entire channel for those answers. Go ahead and put it there as well. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment. Hello, first of all. Hi, nice to see you, or for you to see us. I get whatever. Please subscribe and like. We'll love you forever. And if you're on Spotify, you can also leave a comment on the episode in particular with your answers. So please feel free to do that. All of that good stuff. But speaking of emails and voicemails, Mr. Kyle, where are we?
It's time for emails.
Oh, yeah. And a couple of voicemails. We've got 2 voicemails here and a few emails as well. So let's start with our voicemails. This first one is from Kevin Red Bull.
Hey, Chris and Kyle. It's Kevin Red Bull. Well, I guess with the way the last message went, it's probably going to be just Chris, I assume.
Tough luck.
This is,
surprise,
a pre-recorded episode, and he's taking an extended break, and we don't even know. Whenever you get to this, I just wanted to know, have you achieved any of your goals for the year, or are you getting close to them? How is your progress going on your yearly goal? Because so far I only have one goal for myself, seeing as how I'm already level 50 and I don't really know what else to do. I want to max out my Zygarde. And I need 73, 72 more Zygarde cells out of, everything, because it's already in the middle evolution. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to get this before the middle of the summer. Then what? I don't even know what to do at this point. Like, half of the events I'm not even playing because I have it all and I've done it all. So, what do you guys do when you complete a goal early? Do you just not play as much? I'm curious because I'm to the point in this game where I feel like I'm in the top echelon of players, being level 50, and, I don't need Stardust, I don't need XP, I have the Shinies, I have the Megas, I don't care about the Dynamax, that's why I'm not even bothering, but what do you guys do? Curious. So, have a good day. Shiny vibes all. Kevin Red Bull, out.
I think the answer. There's 2 answers. What are you going to say?
2 answers. Yeah.
Yeah, but what? No, I want to hear what you have to say, please.
No, I need to hear if you're the same as mine.
Oh, okay. All right. You have your 2 locked in.
I do have my 2 locked in. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, the first one is you could always just set a new goal.
That's my 1.
All right. And number 2 is you just rest on your laurels, man, and just coast until the next check-in.
Yeah, you take a break.
Yeah, you take a break.
Chris and I are on the same wavelength there, though. Those were my 2 answers.
Yeah,
it's totally okay to set a new goal. Like, we don't. If you accomplish something early and you want to keep going, there's always a new goal you could set. Yeah, you have your own ideas about what you want, and if what you want is to kind of just chill until something appeals to you, that's also cool too.
that's also a goal. It could be a goal to just relax, you know? But you know, if you've been listening to this show for a long time, guys, we make up the rules for goal setting. You make up the rules for your own goal setting. We started doing goal setting as a weekly thing because it was kind of fun to like measure our progress and stuff along the way. Our gaming, individual gaming styles like really emerged through this. It's fun to do that and then rib each other every week if you miss something or congratulate each other if you get something. But there's no rules. It's not like I've set 3 goals for the season. I can't set a 4th. And if I finish this, I got to stop playing. I just, do what you want. Do what makes you happy, Yep.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But congrats on 50, Kevin. That's awesome. Yeah. We've got one from Sarah Manda. Let's play that.
Hey, GOCast. It's Sarah Manda here. Wanted to share some thoughts about the Tour Pass that rolled out this week. So, I like that the Tour Pass was rolled out at the start of the week on Monday. The upsides are, I think it's kind of obvious, but I mean, it's a new feature, so it gives time for people to learn and understand how it works before the busy 2-day event. Casual players that don't even open the game every day, they might not know about the event happening on the weekend, because sometimes you blink and the event is come and gone, so this gives the event more visibility and hype. And being able to get a head start on how many points you need on the Tour Pass to get to rank 100, it's a good thing. I mean, during Monday through Friday, there was this cap of how many points you could earn per day, but the cap sucks, but it makes sense, guys. The point is to be able to do this on the weekend. It kind of defeats the point of the pass if you have finished it before the event starts. And I just said there's a bunch of reasons why it's a good thing we got access to the pass before the weekend. So that's just how it is. It's like the compromise. Anyway, I do agree, though, they could have explained the point structure for Monday through Friday a bit better because, I saw a lot of people freaking out on the internet thinking oh no, this pass is somehow impossible to complete without paying money. So now people know, hopefully, that it's fine. Anyway, gonna throw some math out here. I hope I did the math right because I feel like the numbers have changed each time I've done it. But anyway, let's say you get an average of 100 fusion energy per Kyurem raid, and you need 1,000 fusion energy for black and white form. The free track of the Tour Pass will give out 100 fusion energy of each type. So that means you will likely need to do about 18 raids to have enough fusion energy from both of them. This doesn't include the codes from 100 energy that they gave out on their social media. Let's just pretend you forgot it.
There's that.
Anyway, So 5,000 points to get to rank 100 of the Tour Pass. Let's say that you did hit the daily cap Monday through Friday of 150 points per day, plus I think you got 50 extra points for some task. I don't know what the task was because it's always done by the time I checked. Anyway, so 200 points per day over 5 days, that's 1,000 points. And then if you do 18 raids, that's 900 points. And so that means you got 3,100 points left to get somehow.
Yeah.
It's 5 points per catching Pokemon, so that would be 620 catches over 2 days, or 310 catches per day, which, I definitely hit that on a community day. And this is an 8-hour event each day. I'm not playing for 8 hours. I'm going to play for 4. But the point is, this is pretty
Monster
achievable.
Hunter, Amanda.
Now, granted, if you don't have an auto catcher, this might be tough because you're doing raids during this. So look up on YouTube the fast catch trick if you don't already know it, because it's going to save your bacon. Anyway, value proposition of the premium track. So initially, I thought I would buy it. But then after looking at what I'm spending $15 on, I was like, oh, this feels kind of overpriced. So I'm passing on it. The Victini encounter and this task reward experience, I think that's definitely worth $5. That's comparable to the Masterwork research, which that's $5. And I think it's worthwhile, so I'm getting it. But
I think it's more than $5.
This premium Tour Pass thing, what else do you get? Okay, so you get 200 of each fusion energy type, some avatar hat item, and the lucky trinket. The use it or lose it nature of the lucky trinket doesn't really bother me, but I don't know what I would value these things at. They're not worth $10 to me. I don't even think they're worth $5, but anyway. There are some things they could have done to increase the value of what they had, though. Like, for example, on the premium track, the additional encounters you unlock, if those were, regionals instead of more of the same encounters, or, instead of Victini, if it was Keldeo, oh boy, if it was Keldeo, that would have been dirty, super dirty, but definitely would have been worth something. Anyway, that's all. Peace. Sorry, Amanda.
All right, so I think the Tour Pass Deluxe, like the paid version, is $14.99.
Yes.
And then there's a Tour Pass Deluxe plus 10 ranks for $19.99 that you can buy.
Yeah.
And then there's a Tour Pass Deluxe box for $30 as well.
Sure. But Sarah Amanda said that they don't think that the Tour Pass Deluxe is worth $14.99.
I see.
And they compared it to the Masterwork for Shiny Meloetta, which is $4.99, which is fair. I will agree to an extent, but the difference here is that the Masterwork is going to require significant time and investment for you to complete.
Yeah.
So it would also feel bad if you had to pay more and do all of this time. The fact that it's going to take you potentially weeks and weeks to finish the Masterwork.
Yeah.
Makes the cheaper price better.
You and I always come to a fork in the road on this one, though. As much as we agree on a lot of stuff, that like paying more to do more to me is like just it's content to do. It's not like you'll meet me halfway because you're making me do so much. I'm like, I get to do so much because I paid for it, and that's what I'm paying for. You know.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we're disagreeing right now. I'm just seeing the reasoning for the cost because you can. I'm just seeing the reasoning that Sarah Amanda is presenting.
Well,
that like where the value of paying for the pass is the question. You're not getting more content by paying for the quest.
The time is also limited for the pass too. I think that's part of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you're not getting more content for paying for the pass. Let's be clear here. You get to complete this pass regardless as long as you're playing.
Yeah.
So the question is the extra candy, is the extra incense, is the Victini, is the lucky trinket, is the Stardust worth it to you?
Yeah.
I think when it comes to spending money on the game, it's one of the more worth it things you could possibly do at the current moment if you're going to complete it. Does that make it good value? I'm not going to take a stance on that. I haven't looked at it fully, and I'm not going to do the math on it. I don't think it's good value for me, and I probably would not buy it myself. Even if I was playing the full day.
I'm confident that afterwards we'll have a good take on it, but that doesn't help people trying to advise people prior.
You'll have a good take on it. We'll talk about that at the end of the show.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the voicemail, Sarah Amanda. Appreciate it. And I mean, I'm also pretty hype on the battle pass structure. It's pretty slick. So, we've got some emails here. This first one was from Sam, and they said, "Hey guys, this is Sam, or Spendthrift in game. First time writing in, and I feel the need to share my most inappropriately timed moments in Pokemon Go." Oh, this is from the Pokéball question a while ago. The story goes as follows. My fiance and I are out and about with a large group of friends in the city celebrating her best friend's birthday. I, being the noble player I am, but also trying to be a good fiance, chose to put the phone down for the most part during the evening, but made sure to keep that plus on me. That's right. Always got to keep that thing on you. This is where I made the misstep. As any 21st birthday celebration goes, we ended up making our way to a bar that, as luck would have it, had lots of security and required you to go through a quick pat down before heading in. Next thing I know, I'm sitting there for 5 minutes explaining to the bouncer what a Go Plus was and why it simply had to go into the establishment with me. My group of friends and I shared a good laugh later, but I was quite embarrassed in the moment. But hey, I made a good caught playing Pokemon Go at a bad time story that I've now got to share. Aside from that, love the show. Keep up the great work. That's hilarious.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh my goodness.
Dude, if this had been out when I was hitting 21 and stuff like that, like this would have been me too. This is very relatable, super relatable.
Yep.
But thank you for writing in, Sam. Appreciate it.
The next email is from Megablade, and they said, "Hello, GOCast. Megablade here. It has been an incredibly long time since I last emailed. I've been wanting to email recently, but I absolutely needed to after hearing about the Scopely deal and listening to the ISC episode you were on. I'm extremely excited about this as I play Marvel Strike Force, another game by Scopely, and it gets completely new characters and movesets every other week. That's pretty impressive, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope this means more content in Go at a time, especially considering the dry game right now, not including Unova Tour. Do you think this will improve the speed of the game will grow and adds new content and maybe even Mega Mewtwo and Aegislash?
I mean,
hey. My other two questions. When do you predict a release for Mega Mewtwo and Aegislash if the deal goes through by next week? And two, I've been playing a lot of Pokémon recently with a few friends. What Pokemon would you want in a Pokémon 2, as well as new features? We got a Pokémon 2, didn't we? Like, there was a sequel. I think
was there?
I think we would need a third game, which is still great. I would love to see more Pokemon. I didn't really get to play the first two. There was a Wii U.
Don't think there was a Pokémon 2.
Maybe it just got ported.
I think it just got ported.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, it's such a hard topic to talk about.
What, the Scopely stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's the thing. More content would be good. And if they're pushing stuff through at the same rate that you're saying that they would for Marvel Strike Force, that would work for some people. I personally think that this brand does not thrive at that speed. And I don't think this game would last very long at that speed either. I don't think that'd be a good thing. I think it would cheapen the experience if we got a lot of stuff real quick. I think it'd be exciting. And then I think it would be over. And we would be like, oh no, what's happening now? Which is probably nothing, because we'd have to wait for new generations of Pokemon or other special types of games or events or cross-promotional stuff to happen. And I think that, Pokemon is a lot of really great things, but another thing it is it takes its time. Yeah. So
it takes its time unless it's time for that yearly release.
Yeah. Right.
Pop Pokemon. Well, by yearly, whatever.
Hey, man, who needs frame rate? Nobody. It's fine.
It's okay. Legends EA will fix everything, right?
So what about this first question here, Kyle? What do you predict for the release of Mega Mewtwo and Aegislash if the Scopely deal goes through by next week?
Well, I mean, let's be real here. Mega Mewtwo will be a headline feature from a GoFest. Next GoFest? Hey, maybe.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Great. I mean, Aegislash they're going to put in 10K eggs and keep it there at 0.5% hatch rate for the next 3 years.
12Ks or 10Ks?
No, 10Ks. 12Ks have to be dark type or poison type.
Okay.
It's a requirement.
I didn't get the memo. I didn't know.
Have you not noticed?
I mean, there's definitely a trend, but you know what? They've said in the past to that. Who cares? So it's fine.
I mean, they haven't broken that trend yet.
Okay, well, that just means it's next on the chopping block, sir. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, we feel safe in that until rug pulled. Oops. Hey, I don't have an answer to this. Kyle's answer is just as good as any you're going to get from me. Yeah. But neither of us have really played Pocket that much.
No, I know a handful of the Pokemon that are in it.
Gengar's in it. You're good.
Gengar's in it.
Chandelure, I think, too, right?
Chandelure's in it. Decidueye's in it. Blaziken's in it.
There's a lot of ghost Pokemon.
Yeah, there is. I really want to say that Aegislash is also in it, but I don't remember. And that might
I believe
bias,
it is.
But I believe it is. So, like, yeah.
I want Typhlosion, man. Put Typhlosion in that game.
I pick an uncommon ghost type because it has to be. I want to see Golurk.
Oh.
Golurk, big like bruisery ghost type instead of, or maybe Delmise.
Yeah,
Delmise.
That would be sick.
I love it.
Oh, a big heavy move set like Nightmare from Soul Calibur.
Yeah,
like that'd be so good. Oh man, yeah, that'd be slick. But yeah, hey, there you go. Those are our predictions. Megablade, thank you very much for writing, and we appreciate it. This last email is from Doug. Hey, Doug. First of all, if that link to the Discord didn't work, hit me up again, because you sent this in a while ago. I sent a reply and I didn't hear back. So let me know if it worked. All right. Doug says, every Pokemon Go content creator ever says, do not purify Pokemon. Do not purify shadow Pokemon. This directive to the masses does, of course, completely ignore all of the field and timed research, not to mention level 45 achievement requirement to purify 100 shadow Pokemon. Ugh. The gut reaction everyone has to this question is really annoying, to the point that I can't find anyone who has an answer. But all of my hope lies with the two of you. So now that I have all these purified Pokemon that shouldn't exist, I have some questions. 1, if I get a hundo because I purified it, am I penalized somehow if I take it to level 50? How is it worse than the same non-purified Pokemon, all else being equal? I guess let's take this one question at a time because there's 3.
Sure.
So for this first one, if you have a hundo because you purified it, let's say it was a 14, 13, 13 shadow Pokemon and you purified it to 100. It will cost less to power it up all the way to 50. So you have a benefit there. And in comparison to other non-purified, non-shadow Pokemon, it will be just as effective.
Yes.
Now,
unfortunately.
Yes. Now, why don't you cover the other half of this?
Well, so you're not penalized compared to a regular Pokemon, but compared to a shadow Pokemon, by purifying it, you lose out on the 20% attack bonus that you get from being shadow. So if you want to count that as a penalty, it is technically a penalty.
Yes.
But not strictly speaking from an objective standpoint.
And mathematically, it doesn't matter what Pokemon it is. The difference of 3 or 4 IVs across the board when you purify is a net loss on damage output than just keeping it shadow because of the 20% bonus.
Worth strictly noting, that is for PvE.
Yeah.
It's very, very clear that almost all discussion around purifying Pokemon is related to PvE. And I say that because I've read ahead to the email and it will make sense in a second.
Okay.
So I wanted to read the second question.
All right. Here's question number 2. Why does everyone act like Shadow Mewtwo is a big deal? Every time I encounter one in PvP, my level 50 Terrakion and or Melmetal just mows them down. I don't understand why people believe that myth. Can you help a brother out with that? All right, go ahead, Kyle.
Well, Mewtwo's not a great Pokemon in PvP in general. So
True.
We'll start with that one. Like it's good, but it's not amazing. Just for comparison, by the way, Mewtwo Shadow ranked 29, Mewtwo non-Shadow ranked 39 in Master League. So good, but not amazing.
Yep.
The real answer here is you winning the match doesn't necessarily mean the Pokemon is weaker. It just means you had a good matchup potentially. I don't know deeply enough about PvP to answer this one more in depth, but shadow Pokemon are going to pump out a lot more damage really fast to the point where if you can't respond to them, they will kill you faster than you can kill them.
Yeah.
Unless you have a good matchup. So, and again, shadow Pokemon are very squishy. So if you have a lot of damage you can throw at them instead, or you're really tanky, that's going to help.
Yeah. In PvP, there's a lot of things to talk about. You can talk about IV spreads. You can talk about Shadow Purified. You can talk about, what's the word for it being bulky? TDO, right?
Yeah.
But the king of all of this is type matchup. That matters the most. The Pokemon you have in there versus the other Pokemon and the moves that both of you have and how much health you have and stuff like that, whatever, shields, sure, whatever. But everything else is a nuance, like adjustment to the conversation nested within it being like the matchup is the most important part.
Yeah. Like even just looking at quick sims on PvPoke, which again are not accurate for like the actual real world experience. Shadow Mewtwo beats Melmetal by a sliver. Like in a perfectly played world with one shield each and no baiting and all that kind of, it lives with like 10 HP. So any kind of variance is going to make it feel better or worse for one side.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if that wasn't a Shadow Mewtwo, Melmetal would probably just win without much thought behind it anyways.
Yes.
So like that's something to keep in mind here, that if you're shredding the Shadow Mewtwo, odds are you probably would have beaten the regular Mewtwo just as badly.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the long and the short of it. The last question is one last question unrelated to Shadow Pokemon. What advice do the two of you have for learning how to nail excellent throws? I hate to say it, but Get Good is kind of the advice here. But
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Oh,
Let
I'm
me
the right
tell
person.
you.
I'm the right person to ask. Now the toxic response of Get Good aside, at the core of that, kindly, it is, these Pokemon, all of them are a little bit different, but honestly, they kind of fall into like 6 or 8 distances that you learn to eyeball pretty well as you've thrown hundreds of thousands of Pokeballs at
really
different
is
Pokemon.
Muscle memory practice.
It is. And after a while, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I forgot that I have to really, really whip it up there in order to hit a Ho-Oh, and I don't have to do much for a Caterpie, and you'll just adjust accordingly.
And so this is, I'm gonna throw out a League of Legends term here because I've been listening to a lot of League of Legends content, and it's gonna work here. But playing with intention, because so much. Face it, Chris can be honest here. You look at your phone, you curve the ball, and you let it go. You don't really think too much about it.
Not anymore.
You're not going to get better at throwing excellent throws unless you actually are like, look at your throwing. Okay, how far do I actually need to throw to catch this? Until it is, like Chris said, muscle memory.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. So I can throw excellent throws when I really, really try. But I don't have that muscle memory. I still will never forget. It was for Sinnoh Tour last year. We were in the car with Cameron, and we got a party play task to make 50 excellent throws. And like the task ended, and Cameron had made like 37 of them.
Yeah.
And it was like machine gun. Every single cut. I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And like he just locked in, and he's like, "Yeah, this is just what I do." And I'm like, So don't feel bad about not being able to do that. Like, not everybody can.
Cam was also just like, you want to talk people with gamer brain. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
Very good at stuff like this. Yeah. Moving on with the email here. I understand from your past shows that Chris is level 50 and Kyle is about to start in on it. So any advice the two of you have is very much appreciated. Well, you got our varied advice.
I'm 1/3 of the way through it.
Woo! 2026?
20 million more to go.
You can do it. Yeah. My family has loved your show for the past 3 years, and we listen during dinner and appreciate all the work that you do in forging your podcast empire. Oh boy, that sounds so diabolical. I'm kind of here for it. We're glad that you can have the chance to be an elite trainer crew with you, and the monthly fee pays for itself in the ticket advice that we get from you, which ones to grab and which ones to pass on. Thanks again. Well, thank you very much. And I'm glad that, you sent me this email, and I promised you like several weeks ago, like, oh yeah, we'll read on the next one. And then half of us took a break, and I was sick, and then I was on the trip. So thank you for your patience. And again, let me know if the Discord link didn't work. We'll figure it out. But hello to you and your family, and thanks again for writing in. That's the end of the show. So if you, dear listener, would like to send us an email or a voicemail, just like these fine folks did, you can by sending that email over to mail@gocastpodcast.com. You can also email us a voice file if you want to, a sound file of your call, if you don't want to call. But if you would like to call, the number is 262-586-7717. Go to our website for all things GoCast at GoCastPodcast.com. Follow us on X and Threads at GoCast Podcast. If you'd like to help support the show monetarily, you can by visiting Patreon. That's patreon.com/GoCast Podcast. And speaking of patrons, big shout out to our elite trainer tier patrons. Kyle, I know it's unfair, but since I did a solo show, I read it last time. So it's back to your turn.
This is where I would quote Star Wars at you, but I can't remember the quote right now. But
what's it like? This, yeah, well, I can't. It's Anakin, right?
It's Anakin council. About the council, but I can't. The quote is in my head. And I can't
grant you the rank of master. You can't do this. It's unfair.
Okay. Here we go. Shout out to elite trainers Bo, Daniel, Lori, Michael, Ozzy, Mark, Arkham, Marvin and Mimi, Sports, Thayer, Jason, Justin, Charles, Motters, Lee, William, Brandon, Ethan, Steven, Nick, our favorite listener, Drew 2, Camo, The Ugly Rock, Jacob, Victoria, Sarah, Laura, Memorandums, Nabil, Tish, Jacob, Matthew, Don, John Paul, Micah, Sean, Dave, and Nessicall. I couldn't do it all in one breath.
That's all right. That's all right. I crashed and burned last time too. Yeah. It's getting tough, which is a good thing. That means we have a lot of support, and we thank you all so much. Thank you. And even to our non-elite tier patrons, the fact that you're giving anything at all is wonderful, and we hope that you're enjoying the Discord, because it's wonderful. I mean, I can't tell you, like, when I meet people out and about at these events and stuff like that are patrons, people that are like in the Discord just talk about how great it is. They're like, oh yeah, the community you guys have is like really great. I'm like, yeah, I gotta tell you, we didn't do a lot of fostering there. It's just filled with a lot of really good people, and y'all make it what it is. So thank you guys, really. You can also help support the show by leaving a review wherever reviews are taken. And since the last time I read reviews, we've gotten 3 on Apple Podcasts. I found a place to look them up. Here we go. This one is from Disco Dave 2001, and they said, the veteran duo of Pogo podcasting. A fun look at the Pogo news and events. We have Chris, the Ying, always looking on the bright side, and Kyle, the Yang, who can find fault in pretty much everything. Focus mostly on events, rating, max battles, and shiny hunting, but not so much on PvP, for which their knowledge is comically lacking.
Yeah,
this is too real, brother. However, they have expert friends that cover that with PvP Corner. A must in Pogo podcasting. Keep up the good work, boys. At least that take is exactly how we present it.
Yeah, like, completely and utterly accurate.
All right. This next one is from somebody called A Person Who Likes Pokemon, who 3 months ago left a review with 4 stars that says, I would rate this 4.5 out of 5 stars. And then this new one was left a month ago, and it's for 5 stars. And yet it still says I would rate this as 4.5 out of 5 stars, good overall. So however we earn that 5th star from you, thank you so much. We appreciate the adjustment. And this last one is from somebody, their name is Bad, and the review is just 5 stars. Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you.
We love it. To the point. Love it. Okay, so we've got to set some goals here. And this upcoming event is going to be Go Tour Unova Global. So I'm eager to hear, Kyle, because you're going to be kind of in and out. Monster Hunter is releasing this weekend. And you've only been waiting for it for, gosh, how many years?
When did Sunbreak come out? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, 2 years?
Yeah. So that'll take up some of your time. So what do you want to do?
Spoiler, I took off Friday and Sunday from work to play Monster Hunter before I either knew or remembered that Unova Tour Global was this weekend. So I have one goal specifically, because I don't actually know if I'm going to feel up for leaving my house over this weekend. We're going to see how I feel. And I want to get black and white Kyurem. Unlimited remote raid passes. Send me the raid passes if you're listening to this before Saturday and Sunday somehow. People will send them to me anyways. Let's be real here. Too many crazy people on my friends list. Yeah, that's it. Those are my goals.
All right. Keeping it real, keeping it light. We love it. I would like to hatch 100 plus eggs. I'd like to hit 250 plus ranks on the pass. I would like to catch more shiny deerling than the one that I had traded to me from Morgan. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. That means I'm missing 3 if I want to get all 4. I'd like to catch 2 hundos. Please, no more Bouffalont. And and 30 plus shinies total. I do intend to play.
See, that's the downside of hatching so many eggs, is the 10Ks are only those 3. So your odds of getting the hundo. Yeah.
I forgot to tell you. You know who hatched a shiny Larvesta?
Was it Henderson?
It was Henderson. He's like, oh, look at that. I'm like,
Henderson be like, I'm not trading it to you. Sorry.
No, he's not going to, because he cares about the game in his own way too, and I just wouldn't let him. But boy, everybody else in that group thought it was hilarious because they know that that's like my white whale right now. And I'm hatching thousands of eggs since that thing came out. And I'm just like, no dice. No. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Well, hey, thanks for listening all the way through, folks. This is a long, hey, we're back episode. We hope that you have a good Go Tour Unova and, shiny vibes, all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next one, which should be our seasonal all hands megapod. So boy, lots of content ahead. See you there. Bye-bye.
Bye.